Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the SAFF podcast. Today we have Mo with us. Razeen is not able to make it. A lot to talk about and get into this episode. Mo, let's start off by asking you, how was game week 23 for you? Because it
An
was a bit
absolute
of a shocker.
shocker. It was an absolute shocker. I was looking at my points on Saturday. I think I was on 8, and already at that point in time, I was telling myself, I don't think I'm going to hit 30 this week. There was a point in time I considered I might not hit 20. I think at some point I was on 18. I said, okay, 20 is at least achievable. It is going to be a bit of a stretch. You see, it just went from bad to worse. I panicked, so I was actually out just before the deadline. Heard the City news, and I was like, okay, Foden's not starting, Haaland's not starting. I said, okay, cool.
Mm,
Let me make a transfer. Foden out to Bruno Fernandes. That was always going to be the plan. I said I was going to try and hold it off for 1 week so I can rebalance the team. I said, okay, let me just whack this one early and then we'll see where we go from there. Then I panicked on the captain. I didn't know who to captain. So I just panicked, put it on Ekatike, said, okay, we'll keep it on him and then we'll see what happens, hoping that he'd start. And then as soon as he wasn't starting, I knew it's curtains for me this week.
yeah, but it was a lot of players that had that same
Mm.
situation, that being benched unexpectedly. I think you called it right when you said Haaland would be benched. So we were
Yes, I
kind
expected
of
it.
expecting it, but it's
Yeah,
still hard to bench Haaland, even when he comes on for 30 minutes against
exactly.
Wolves. What saved me is my captaincy.
Semenyo was the right one. I mean, I think we spoke about it last week that he's probably one of the best captain choices for this week because he was definitely going to play.
Initially, like after Saturday, it looked great because I had Wilson, Semenyo, Anderson, Van
Mm.
Dijk all getting me big points. But in the end, I just had too many one pointers. And like Foden, Haaland, Ekitike, Hall, and Henderson also got me 1 point. But that's unavoidable. They
But
played.
the week was like
Um,
that. The week was like that. It was just full of one pointers in everybody's team. You had to have one or two players that did the job in the rest of the team. But I mean, I think 58 was for you was insane. I think it's a great return,
yeah,
especially considering how low scoring the game week actually was.
but it could have been better. Like some of the mistakes that I made, like I brought in Semenyo for Cunha. But the plan was to either sell Foden or Cunha. In the end, I
Yeah,
wanted to sell both of them, and they both sold. I've already sold Foden for Fernandes now, but I stuck with
yeah.
Foden over Cunha. And in the end, like, I probably didn't even need to sell Cunha because Drogba's now injured for at least, they said,
Yes,
10
so he's
weeks.
probably gonna, yeah, he's gonna
So
play
Cunha's
most
likely
likely.
going to start. And I mean,
Mm.
he's been in on the points, even from the bench. I mean, there was a wonderful goal that he scored now against Arsenal.
Yeah,
What a game
assist
as
the
well.
weekend before, goal this
Hmm.
weekend. He's definitely stepped up. But I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's an opportunity for us to also see Man United now in a game where they'd be expected to play a little bit more and keep the ball a little bit more. Let's see if they perform differently because it just feels so much like the Ole era that they had a few years ago where
Hmm.
they'd be so good against the top teams, but once they have to dictate the play in a game, do they have that same ability? So it'll be a nice one to see. And I don't think the Cunha one out is a bad one, to be honest, because I think Semenyo is going to be
Yeah.
quite nailed in the Premier League.
Did you catch the Arsenal game? What were your thoughts on
I
it?
watched the whole thing. I think a lot of people are playing in the fact that Arsenal played badly. I think Arsenal actually played okay. I just think Man United just
Hmm.
were very clinical when they had their chances, which is pretty much what you'd expect them to be in the style of play.
Do you think the weakness of Arsenal is showing in their clinicalness? Because Saka is not the most clinical. He's not meant to be. But Gyökeres doesn't seem to find the net as often as I think they
There
expected
was
him to.
some silly stat of their forwards not scoring goals in like 13 games. This one's 13
Hmm.
games, that one's like 12 games, 10 games, 20 something games. It's surprising because they're not getting. I mean, it's actually not surprising at all, right? We knew Gyökeres after the first couple of weeks didn't look like he was fit for the Premier League, and I mean, we also said at some point in time the fact that no other clubs were going for him, that should have been the concern as well if Arsenal were the only team in for him, right?
Hmm.
Saka's not known to be a clinical goal scorer. His skills have been more on creativity, creating a lot of chances. That's one thing he does give the team, but you need someone at the end of the day to put it away. Havertz he's just probably back from injury. You'd expect him to be starting more games. Jesus has never been prolific before. So they've built a team around defense and set pieces. And I mean, it's showing that when the time comes to score goals through open play, you can see the output is just not there.
What about the handball? What was your opinion on that?
I thought it was a penalty. but I know the rules say that if the hand there's a support, they don't usually give it. The rule is relatively clear. But I didn't think Maguire's hand was on the ground. It was like in between, so I actually thought they'd give the penalty. But the from what I've gathered about the rules is because the hand was effectively in a supporting position, it would be considered natural. So that's why they don't. And it was really reasonably close as well, so I get it.
Yeah. Also, I thought when I saw it, I thought I'd give it just
Yeah.
how it looked more blatant than it wasn't intentional, but it just looked so obvious
Mm.
and outstretched that I thought I'd give it. What now with Manchester United going up against Fulham? What's your thoughts on this game? Like a lot of people are saying go 3 on United.
Bruno,
Do you feel
Bruno
like it's
captain, man. That's the only
do you
thing.
feel like it's a
That's
Bruno
the only thing I'm really
captain?
thinking about.
I actually have Bruno
I,
as a potential captain as well.
yeah, I've got him as a potential captain. I think it's a decent fixture. But Fulham are coming with a little bit of confidence though. They've got a few wins and I mean some decent results over the last few. So I think they will be a tough team to break down. But Bruno's just looking so good playing as a number 10 at the moment, man. He's got so much freedom. So I think there's a hole due in this current setup that they have. So I'm hoping he does quite well. I'm not going to load my team up with Man United players. I mean, defensively, I still don't know. I'd like to give him a couple of games. I
Yeah.
think Maguire is a decent option if he stays fit. I think he can be quite solid. The only concern there is that if De Ligt is fit, which I think he might be back soon, he might just affect his minutes a little bit. But I suspect Maguire to be nailed, to be honest. So he's someone I'd consider, but that's about it. No, I actually think Burmo and Ahmad I think are really two good options as well.
Yeah.
So Ahmad being a much cheaper midfielder if you want to go for the cheaper type of mid, and Burmo is playing as the 9 effectively. So I think he's definitely there. I really considered him, but I can't afford him at the moment for the way my team is structured. So
Yeah.
I tried to
So
fit him in, and I just said, okay, I have to get rid of Ekatike to bring him in, and I'm not ready for that one just yet.
a lot of people are saying if you want to capitalize on United's form, and if they do hit form, Fernandez is not going to be the one because everybody's going to own him. It's going to be
Yes.
Mbeumo and Ahmad. If you take the risk on them, that's going to
Mm.
really boost your rank. I don't feel Ahmad is like he's definitely a pick that's a lot more riskier. Mbeumo
Yes,
playing
he
down the
is.
middle is a lot more stronger, and you feel like
Yeah.
if they do change things up, if Sesko comes into the team, then it's most likely that Mbeumo will be pushed out to the right, and Ahmad will be
Yes,
either dropped or pushed
I
elsewhere.
agree.
So the Mbeumo pick is definitely the safer pick. I mean, he is a clinical finisher. We saw that as well. I think if
Yeah.
he gets a chance, more likely you have faith in him to bury it. So I think it's a great pick. But what's putting me off is the other news that we got now is that there's a potential double game week in
Double game week, yes.
26.
Mm.
So it's going to happen because it's Arsenal versus Chelsea. Whoever wins that is going to double up in 26 and then blank
Yes.
in 31. So it's looking like Arsenal, they can go in with the advantage. And if Arsenal beat Chelsea in the EFL Cup semi-final, then it's going to be Arsenal and Wolves that double in game week 26.
Yes.
And it's going to be, or if Chelsea wins, it's going to be Chelsea and Everton that
Yes.
will
That's
double.
correct.
So the only thing now is to kind of talk about the Chelsea assets and the Arsenal assets. I think Arsenal's pretty straightforward. I think Gabriel is
Yes.
probably the key player for that game week. I think they have Wolves and Forest, if I'm not mistaken, for
Wolves
that
and
double up.
Brighton. Is it Brighton?
Maybe Wolves actually have
Might be
Forest. Let me
Brighton.
just double check. Yeah, it's Brentford. It's Brentford and Wolves.
Brentford and Wolves,
Yeah,
yes.
and Wolves will have
That is a
Forest
sick
and
double
Arsenal.
game week.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with that game week is who do you captain? Because I mean you can't trust any Arsenal forwards. You're likely captaining Gabriel for those two games, which
Yeah, I
is
mean Saka
gonna
is
be
still not a
fun.
bad shout if you have him.
He isn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so
But he doesn't do
I
much, to be
mean
honest, and
he
he's
doesn't do
also
much.
such a rotation risk at the moment, which is putting me off so much. I'm actually considering selling at some point because I want to downgrade him to Declan Rice, and I want to use that money. I'm after seeing Palmer yesterday, I'm tempted. I'm so tempted by Palmer because he came off the bench and he effectively changed the game against Napoli yesterday.
Yeah,
So he
but
is someone
Rosinier has said
I'm seriously considering.
Palmer wasn't someone who could start or play 80 minutes last night.
But I
So
mean the way he's playing, like I'll even take him for the few minutes that he's on the field if he's making such an impact.
in terms of Chelsea assets, because they might double, I mean, it's a lot more riskier with Chelsea. There's a lot more rotation. I think
So
Enzo would
difficult.
be, but I mean, even people are saying Enzo. If Palmer comes back in, Palmer takes the penalty.
Enzo's not necessarily nailed. Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
Enzo's not on pens anymore. You're right.
Mm.
That is a fact.
That makes it. I mean, there's a lot of factors with Enzo because he's on set pieces when James is not playing. James is also rotation
Yes,
risk, but James does play 60,
correct.
70 minutes most times. So, I mean, I'm not convinced with the Enzo pick, even though he got the return, he got the penalty. That
Yes,
Estavio just looks amazing, but he's also
he does
a
look good.
minute's risk.
Also rotation risk, yeah.
But to be
I
honest,
think
the one I'm
your
favoring the
best
most
minutes.
is João Pedro. Just he's a minute's risk.
Mm,
Delap will take minutes off him. But in terms of I feel like his first choice, and it was shown against the Napoli game. So over the next 4 game weeks, he could potentially have 5 games. If he plays four of
yes,
those 5 games, then I think it's still worth it
I think
for
so
him.
too.
And
I think the three Chelsea guys I'd go for João Pedro, Enzo, and then Chalobah. I think
Chalobah is the
defensively they've
safest, yeah.
also,
I mean,
yeah,
you
I
can
think
you
they're solid
can you can
defensively. You
motivate
can go
for
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
No, you can go Sanchez as well, but I think Chalobah with his defcon and his attacking threat, I think that he's definitely someone that you can look at if you really want.
Yeah. Interesting enough, Sanchez and Chalobah have been getting defensive points and save points because they've actually
Yeah.
been very leaky. They've conceded,
Mm,
I think they played Palace, and Palace were like the third highest shot takers in the past game week. So it
yeah.
just shows that they are conceding chances. So, I mean, I
Chalobah's been
would
quite a
prefer
DEFCON
Chalobah.
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I would
think he's
prefer
such a
Chalobah over
DEFCON machine at
Sanchez.
the moment, and
Mm.
he's had enough attacking returns so far this season to justify a place. He's a bit pricey though, but I mean, I think if you want to go long term in your defense, Gabriel, Timber, Chalobah, set and forget for the rest of the season. I think that's one that you can definitely consider.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's talk about our teams for a bit. I'll start off with mines. I got 2 free transfers and I'm looking to change things up. I'm kind of indifferent. Like I kind of want to wait for that Arsenal result before I make
Yeah.
my transfers. But I don't have Gabriel, and I know I want to bring in Gabriel. Right now I have Timber, I have Van Dijk, then I have Steve Anderson and Hall. So even though Hall has been fairly good for me, I saw some of his minutes last night as well. He looked amazing against PSG. It's
Yes.
just Newcastle's fixtures are turning. They have been leaking goals now and then.
Mm.
So I kind of have the feeling that I can take out Hall this week for Gabriel, take out Ekitike for João Pedro, and then build up my next few transfers up until game week 26, where then I can decide if Chelsea
How
make it,
to
then
plan.
I need to bring in
Mm.
a Chelsea defender, and then I drop Timber, but I still keep Gabriel. So that'll
Yes.
be my option. That's what I'm looking at most likely. It's just I feel a bit scared to pull the trigger on João Pedro. The other option is to go Evan
The
Nelson.
minutes risk is worrying because
Hmm.
you expect João Pedro to also play in the semi-final next week.
That's the
So
thing, and
maybe
he
he gets a
played the full
rest this
90.
weekend. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe he
he
gets a
played the full
rest this
90
weekend
against.
and then plays or comes off the bench this week. Yeah, it is risky. And the thing is, there's
Mm.
no clear striker options over these next few weeks because Thiago's fixtures aren't great. Calvert-Lewin's fixtures aren't great. Who else is there? That's option. Evan Nielsen's fixtures are okay. Actually, Evan Nielsen's
Yeah,
not a bad shout at the
that's
moment
the
as well.
thing Bournemouth
But
have
it's
good
Evan
fixtures.
Nielsen.
Senesi,
Yeah.
Evan Nielsen, Senesi, all players that you
Hmm.
can bring in. The thing is that putting me off Senesi as well is just that I need Gabriel because I can bring in Senesi
And
this
they
week.
concede and they concede too many goals,
Mm.
man. You just feel like, but
Yeah,
I think Senesi is a great pick though, either way, because you know he's
yeah,
also a great attacking threat as well, because he always gets assists every now and then, and you know he's almost guaranteed going to get DEFCON. So I think it's a really solid bet over the next few. But I do agree. I think Gabriel's probably a little bit more important for you.
yeah. So that's where I'm with my team. The other thing I don't know what to do is my Fulham assets because they're playing United. I have Anderson and Wilson, but they've been in on the points, so I don't know if
I
it's a
think
sell
Wilson can
now.
play. I think Wilson should play.
Mm.
I think you play Wilson.
Right now,
He's
I
in the
have
form of his
them
life, man.
on the bench. Yeah, right now I have them
Wilson's
on
in
the
the form
bench.
of his life.
So yeah, I'll see. Um,
Who would you
but
consider playing Wilson instead of if you had to?
so I mean, the thing is, I mean, I can drop Elliot Anderson. I have him against Palace. It's just Palace have not been looking that great. But I
Yeah,
mean, I can probably play Wilson ahead of Anderson there. Anderson's
it
like
depends whether you're chasing
4 points, 5
upside.
points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think Harry Wilson gives you the upside to a potential goal, where Anderson you're just gonna expect a 4-5 pointer and be happy with it.
I just tip United again in that game, even with a clean sheet potentially.
Yeah, no, it's possible. It is possible
So,
because Man United are at home, Fulham are away. Yeah, might
mm.
be
what's your team
decent
looking like?
result for them. So my team is a bit of a shambles. I want to try and sell Freddie Potts this week because I actually don't have to sell him this week, but I'm considering
Mm.
selling him. I just don't know which midfielder to replace him with. As much as I want, um, as much as I want Enzo, I'm not convinced in my heart that I want to buy him. But I can play Dewsbury Hall this week even as well because I mean he came on at halftime or just after halftime the last
Yeah.
against Leeds and he looked quite good. So I've got David Raya, I've got Gabriel this week, so that's my Arsenal double up. I've got Tarkowski against Brighton and Hove Albion away. I've got Mukiele against Burnley at home, and I've got Richards against Forest away. Then I've got Saka, Bruno Fernandes, Anderson, and then I've got Ekitike, Haaland, and Calvert-Lewin. I'm considering benching Calvert-Lewin and playing Dewsbury Hall instead. But I'm just thinking that if I can sell Potts for someone else, I'll probably play Potts and bench Calvert-Lewin at home to Arsenal. I don't expect Leeds to score against Arsenal, to be honest, so I'm probably going to bench. And again, he hit the post this week. I just like it's just so painful watching this guy. He has like one chance every game, and he either scores or he misses, and that's it for the rest of the game. So I think the time is coming for Calvert-Lewin to leave my team soon. I just need to not have other priority transfers that are bothering me. So once I get there,
What's
then
your
I think
thoughts
I'll be
on?
good. I don't have transfers to get rid of him right now because I've just got so many other burning issues in my team. Plus, I mean, when he plays, he looks good. He just doesn't finish the chance or doesn't get enough chances. But I mean, their run is really good, right? So I mean, they've got Newcastle and City in the next two, but after that it's Sunderland, Forest, West Ham, Wolves, Spurs, Brighton, Fulham. So I'd probably have wanted to bring him in if I had got rid of him say about 3 weeks ago. I'd probably wanted to have bring him in for the Sunderland game anyway. So I'm considering just staying with him for now and probably just letting him stay in my team. Hopefully he gets a little bit more chances, gets a little bit fitter. I mean, because Liverpool now finished in the top eight, they don't have to play the playoff, right? So he should get some rest in a few of the midweeks. So hopefully his load will be a little bit less and he'll start playing more games. So I think
It's
I'm
just
sticking with him for now.
yeah, just a big minutes risk.
And
It's
also
difficult to.
I have no one to bring in instead of him also. That's my biggest
Mm.
issue. I considered
I
Watkins, but I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not a believer,
I want to
especially now
risk
that
it.
Tammy Abraham's
Yeah, I
there.
want to risk it on João Pedro. But I mean, the safer option is probably Evan Nielsen, just in from a minutes point of view.
Yes.
I think Evan Nielsen
Mm-hmm.
should be on penalties as well, so potentially.
No, I think Krupi is on penalties. But
Oh
Evan
wow.
Nielsen might
Okay.
compete for it, being as the more senior forward there anyway. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't put it past.
So
I just
the
need to
problem with Liverpool
consider
is
Freddie
that
Potts.
they're not playing well.
Yes,
They're not
that's
getting
correct.
the results, and I think I read a few things about now Salah's back in the team, and it seemed to have shifted what they've been building up to. First is a little bit more out of position. Ekitike was dropped
Mm-hmm.
completely, and now Frimpong is also injured. Gomez is injured. Konate is unavailable for personal reasons. I don't know when he's going to be back. Defensively, Liverpool don't look that strong as well. It's a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
I feel like
defensively they
if you
have
have,
problems.
yeah, I would look to be honest, I, I'm not too keen on Liverpool assets at this point. I'm stuck with Van Dijk. I would also not want Van Dijk. But for now, I just don't have the luxury to sell him. I'm thinking of getting rid of Ekitike just to fund Gabriel and get
It's
João
actually
Pedro
not a
in.
bad idea. Yeah, because you've got the
Hmm.
two transfers, so you can use it. I needed to get Tavernier out so I can have some depth on my bench again. So I prioritized that transfer. But I mean, I could sell Ekatike for anyone and probably, mm, yeah, I could do that and then roll the rest. I mean, just worry
Hmm.
about Freddie Potts next week. It's not an urgent transfer because he's my last sub anyway this week. It's not a big deal. But I think I'll
I
give
do
him a
think,
game
yeah,
or
I
two.
do think Ekitike will start. And I mean, he potentially could get
I
a goal
think so
against
too.
Newcastle. I think we can see that happening. Just depends. Sometimes Newcastle can turn up and Liverpool can be a no-show, and that
Yes.
seems to.
100%.
So,
Happened a lot this season. Yeah.
um, so I kind of wanted to talk about Bournemouth, but we've already discussed that. They do have a good run of fixtures. If you do want to take a risk on a Krupi Jr. or Evan Nielsen or Senesi, I mean, it's Wolves. Villa's not the easiest game, but Everton, West Ham, Sunderland, Brentford, Burnley. I mean, all the way up to game week
But they've
30.
signed some players though, right? I mean, Bournemouth
Yeah,
have signed a
they
couple of
signed a
players,
winger.
so that Ryan or something, I think his name is.
Hmm.
So it automatically now starts making the other forwards minutes a little bit more riskier. So I don't know. We'll have to see because that Amin Adli's been playing a lot.
Yeah,
Krupi Jr.'s been playing a lot, and I can't remember who else has been playing in that front three
that
behind Evan
Jimenez
Nielsen
or
in the last game. Jimenez has been playing right wing effectively, and I don't know. Brooks, I don't know if he's injured or what. Tavernier's out for a few weeks. Semenyo's now gone, so I don't know if it's going to affect their minutes a little bit. So we'll have to see. But I actually think Krupi might be okay because there's no one else that can play in the 10 anyway, unless they play Ryan Christie there a little bit more. But I think Bournemouth should be okay. Great fixtures,
Hmm.
so but risky because I mean they've been okay. I mean, as much as they beat Liverpool, they've been so on and off this season, especially with the amount of goals they're conceding.
Looking at game week 24 and the fixtures here, it seems like there's a lot of fixtures to target. It's just who you're going to pick and who you're going to get lucky with. I mean, Arsenal got Leeds. We said Bournemouth have Wolves. Chelsea have West Ham, and West Ham have that defensive fragility where they can really get punished.
Yes,
So even though they have looked a bit better,
but
um,
two wins on the bounce, two wins on the bounce
yeah,
for West Ham, so confidence is
no,
super high.
yeah, but so that's the thing. Like, where do you risk? Where do you play?
Mm,
I want to speak about City and Spurs. What's your feeling going to it? Because City seemingly on low confidence.
mm.
Not like I mean they did beat Wolves. They did win in the Champions League game, but nothing really convincing.
Yeah, they haven't been, and Spurs haven't been convincing either. I mean, 14th in the league versus second, so you'd expect what's it call 'em? You'd expect City to win there, but obviously their record against Spurs at Spurs is actually shocking. But I don't know, Spurs haven't looked good in the league. They've been winning in the Champions League, somehow qualified fourth in the Champions League group stages,
Hmm.
which nobody can make sense of it, and then 14th in the Premier League. So I don't know. It looks like it's got a bit of a draw written all over it, but I think City need to win, especially to keep the pressure on Arsenal after the 4-pointer.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a close game, probably, and City just edging it. The Spurs look like they can get a goal in them. The thing is, can City score more? And I wouldn't be surprised if they do. I go in with very low confidence in any Premier League game at the moment, so I expect City to do some stuff.
Do you think this is a game where you'd be captaining Haaland?
I am considering it because I feel like Haaland's due a proper return. It has been a while, but I
Hmm.
mean, he doesn't really score much against Spurs in general, so I shouldn't expect that. But I think just on league position and form, City they're okay, but um, it makes me nervous that Fernandes is playing Fulham, so that's the only thing that puts me off Haaland. But I still think Haaland's got one of the best fixtures, especially if Mickey van der Ven doesn't play. If Van der Ven doesn't play, I think it gives me more incentive to actually captain Haaland in the game.
And so you stuck with you potentially captaining Fernandes against Fulham.
Yes, I've got it set on him currently, but I might chicken out and then end up just going back to Haaland.
In terms of Foden, those that have maybe have Foden potentially looking to sell him, would you say Foden, like, because Foden, he didn't start in the Champions League game as well. So
So he
would you
should
say
start in the league. You'd
he should
expect
start
him.
in the league? Hmm. I don't know. I still think it's worth a sell. His minutes are just uncertain.
No,
And
I think, and he's just been out of form, right? He
yeah,
doesn't look like he's doing the business. So I think holding on to him is just pointless.
but yeah, that's all from today. Anything else that you wanted to have a chat about?
I'm just looking forward to the Liverpool Newcastle game. I think that's going to be an entertaining watch, and I know we did touch on it a little bit earlier, but I think it can be a really good watch.
Well, let's hope it's a good weekend of football, and we'll catch up soon. Hopefully with Rizin.
Sounds good.
Take care, man.
Cheers.